lose all my, I don't know, my steam or something. My incredible team, so grateful to them. They've been at the booth all day today. I told them I was going to be there, but then next thing I knew, I wasn't. I was working on this, and then my gracious, wonderful hosts here just uploaded the latest version of the deck. You guys still have time to leave. There's some great presentations going on right now, okay? I'm the link builder, all right? All right, and here's what I learned. 15 years of link building. I've been adjacent to SEO for 25. Don't hold it against me. That's me. I advanced maybe by pressing the red button.
Green.
The big green button in the middle. I'm here. I'm here now. Well, my context for this presentation starts a year ago. I was invited for the first and last time to Google I/O. It was really cool. I don't think they knew I was a link builder. It's fine, it doesn't matter. And there was this sort of delegation that Google invited all these SEOs into a room. I said, Garrett, do you want to go? Yes, I do. And the message, and we've heard this message over and over since then, but you know, create non-commoditized content, right? And in the interim, they were kind of not really giving any real assurance that content creators would be rewarded for the work of creating non-commoditized content. And so it was a very strange moment. It was full circle. You know, it always said make helpful content, make useful content. We know these. We know these sort of adages from Google, but this was kind of a breaking point for me because this is sort of the beginning of AIO's eclipsing clicks. This is our bread and butter was going away. And it really came home to me that a lot of the burden was on us, me personally, the link builder, okay? Not really quite just me, but you know, Google was talking about making non-commoditized content, but what we had really done wasn't commoditizing content, it was commoditizing the sale and putting the buy now before helping people make decisions, make great choices, right? I love my slides. They remind me of my little turns of phrase that I imagined I would say on stage if I didn't have the presence. We built the sales first web, all right? And that's also what's been kind of eaten, right, by the LLMs and everybody that's trying to make sense of the world now from all these crazy perspectives. Wrong button. Here's why we did it. We know why we did it. But here's why we did it though. Keywords were seductive. They compressed a huge, messy problem space into one little small concept. And we knew how many people searched for it a month. It was safe. This was a safe place. We love this place. They used keywords, our humans, us, the world used keywords, and we brought them to our pages, and we didn't give them a lot of options. We said, basically, you need to buy now. I'm not mad about that, okay? Could we have done better? Yes. Got a big company, we've done well, it's been fine, right? It's been fine. What do we need to do differently, though? And what does this have to do with link building? We'll get to that at the end, but what do we need to do differently? More importantly, what work should our content do? All right? To be not a commodity, to be read-worthy by an LLM, by a human, why not humans too? Citation-worthy by LLMs, and humans, why not? Why not? They're still good. Citations, links, they're still valuable. How do we get our brands mentioned and, most importantly, recommended? This is the thesis. Take your picture. Y'all can leave after this is the main thing, though. Okay? Cutting right to the chase. And I've thought this so many times and never really quite said it out loud, so I'm almost afraid to read it because I might get lost in the poetic beauty of it. But our content has to serve a human, all right? Now this human's gonna be using AI now. This human is in the middle of accomplishing, solving a task within a habitat or a context. Right? This is why keywords have been such a mess all along, because we were trying to compress all of these things into intent, into top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. We still use those. But we've under-indexed on the actual costs of these humans trying to solve these tasks in terms of their effort, physical, sometimes emotional, cognitive, uncertainty. Unknown unknowns. They don't know what they're uncertain about sometimes. Misrecognition. This is one of my favorite ones. It's a little bit of a compression itself. So misrecognition can happen when we were part of a larger decision committee and we don't realize until too late that we forgot to ask somebody else about approvals, and then all of a sudden we look like an idiot or feel like an idiot amongst our peers and the peers within our decisioning committee. It happens to me all the time. I don't like it. I don't know if I'm sold on misrecognition. Anyways, and then choice points. Most importantly, choice points. And so the continuation of the talk more or less sort of circles around this notion of choice points. So illustration, we're gonna jump in here, and so we can think clearly and less abstractly, which is always a struggle and a challenge to me. We're going to think about graphic design tools. Let's pretend like that I had a client that was in the graphic design tool space. They were more business customers, and in particular, we've all kind of decided to focus on newly funded biopharmaceutical startups. Why? Because I like saying biopharmaceutical. Just rolls off the tongue. So let's say we've been asked to think into the space of make a logo. Make a logo. How would we SEOs attack this? How would we go about? Well, we gotta have the best content on the internet about making a logo. Gotta get a bunch of links to it, and it's gonna rank. And it might. It might. But is that going to serve this committee, this group of humans, in these moments, in these roles, with these concerns? So this is where I'm trying to help SEO grow, where we push as an agency. As link builders, you can push into these places and should be pushing into these places. We'll get to that. But this is trying to split the atom of, that was never an atom, of the keyword, right? Like really understanding into the decision space that keyword represents. What is this slide? This is a prompt that we consider tracking worthy. We would track this one and see how a client would fare against this type of prompt. This is trying to get into the messy place of the CEO who's trying to crawl into the decision of logo redesign. This is not a simple space to crawl into, no matter who you are. And we, make a logo, yeah, we kind of get what that is as a topic. But now, put yourself in this role, in this journey, on the CEO trend. This logo has to be on the front of my new device I'm making. It needs to really say who we are. And when you really start to inhabit that place, you realize that a keyword never could have solved the problem. Even this prompt that we made up with AI can't really solve that problem, but it does start to give us clues. Very interesting clues about what could be useful content. So, what do? We make sure that the T is not at the actual end of judgment there, or the end of transition. Okay, that's number one on our list, the first things we do. This is the part I added this morning. Choice points. And choice points center around concerns or points of, forgive me for going, I newly learned these words, I just was saying, valence. Points where there's lots of different potential directions we could go, right? So a choice point is gonna have lots, not always, sometimes a choice point has two directions, right? But the CEO especially has a large amount of valence. So we took, we took this prompt, put it into just one time. Is there stochasticism? Yes, yes. But we're not worried about that. We're trying to understand when, well, this was just ChatGPT 5.5. When it unpacks a prompt, where does it look? What is it looking for? And across these choice points, what kind of, how many different directions could we have gone with this single part of a prompt? How many pages are we reading to solve this individual part of a prompt? How many pages are getting cited? How many query fanouts are we running? For one prompt. And this was what we were compressing. We, SEOs, were compressing into make a keyword all along. We were not serving our audience. I'm not mad, I'm not sad, I'm just saying. Average valence. I had to say valence at least 3 times today, or else I don't get my bonus. It's not true. But here's a little bit more about valence, because I like it. I like it. It's a helpful, it was a very helpful concept for me. I didn't know there was a name for like the overwhelm at a single point of decisioning, right? Like within a decision space. The more valence there is at a choice point, the more opportunity there is for AI to hallucinate or make stuff up or spin its wheels or really not provide a great answer. But also very interestingly, the lower the valence, this is marketing, gosh, this isn't quite the point I wanted to make next. The lower the valence, the more constrained this particular role is and how they're contributing to the overall decision. We're going to walk through some other roles, and then I'm going to show you the slide I should have put after this one. So this is marketing. It's not too far afield. The valence is a little lower than the CEO, right? The CEO is obviously he, she, think about every possible direction. Marketing's more like, hey, we got to make this work. This has to work in a very kind of narrow space. Operations narrows it down even further, right? It's more constrained. It's got to fit on this box. It's got to look good from this perspective. It's got to fit in these kinds of real life, real world situations. And our favorite, oh, look at how I spelled average. Oh my gosh. Our favorite constrainer legal has the very low valence right there with operations, because the types of prompts, and I could show all the prompts, I just didn't want to have like prompts with slide after slide. Slide after slide with prompts on them. The prompts are all more or less the same type of prompt, just asking from a different perspective, okay? So what we found when we analyzed the nodes, each one of these guys is a node, and I just didn't learn this word. I didn't learn it, I knew it, but I just realized what it meant to me. Each one of these roles is a node. Each one of these nodes is connected, one to the other, by citation overlap between the entire set of citations. And that's represented on this slide right here. And this is Monday, this past Monday, this is when it opened up. I'm like, oh, that's it. Citation analysis and citation gaps aren't just at the prompt level, are we showing up, are we not showing up? But if you analyze it and think about it from the role levels, and you see, hey, the CEO of marketing have 20 shared pages. That kind of makes sense. These guys are in the same kinds of thought spaces. Ops and marketing, it's going down farther. CEO and ops, it's embarrassingly small. I don't want my ops manager seeing that.
I don't know if that's right.
She's my ops manager. And then we get down to legal, poor legal, who has no other links in the citation set from a prompt. Okay, does this prove anything? Well, let's just ask me later after the presentation. They have no other, they're called links. That's what connects nodes, or you call them edges. Edges has felt so weird, so it's like the edge of the stage. There were no other links there were none at all between legal and the other decisioning nodes, okay? What a crazy, fascinating, amazing thing to see. This was really thrilling for me because it really brought home for me what we were already doing. It gave it a name, it gave it a shape, it gave me a way to look into decision spaces and be able to identify where are the missing pieces. What do we need to say? What do we need to say? Do we need to rank #1 for make a logo? No. We need to help the humans in the roles do the best they can with each other. Okay, that's the hardest thing to work with, right? Is other people. I'm not a philosopher. I just said that randomly just now. It might not be true. So LEGO has the most veto power here amongst all these groups. They have a very low valence. So let's look at a no if we haven't closed this link, right? If we haven't connected, we haven't explained to the CEO what all this means from a legal perspective, and vice versa. Well, CEO said, yes, let's do this, goes down the line, and then we did the rebrand, we wasted all the spend. This is the graph. I love this. I love Claude. Claude helped me with this. Thank you, Claude. This is what happens, and this is where the misrecognition comes in. Because if the founder didn't ask legal until after all this money got spent, until after everybody did their jobs, because the CEO said to, and then the legal comes in, well, the founder looks like an idiot. This is that moment of idiocy that we all fear. I fear it so bad. It's crushing sometimes. Well, that's what you set up for. Legal looks like, who's comfortable with cursing? Who's uncomfortable with it? I won't say any. Somebody's not telling the whole truth. Legal looks like an a-hole, all right? Let's just say that. They're not. They're just doing their job. They're just doing their job, right? God, Garrett, what is this? This is another slide that is out of the AI box example of a link, of a bridge. This is a bridge between CEO and legal. So, what needs to get published? What needs to get published? This needs to get published. The trademark clearance brief for CEOs doing a startup logo. This reduces roll-to-roll friction. How do we find it? We looked at the citation gap. Feels so good. Feels so good to say that. We can find our way into useful content by looking at citation gaps, and it has nothing to do with whether our brand is there or not. It has everything to do with understanding roles within the decisioning committee, the phases of the decision as it goes through an organization or a household, right? So is it just at the B2B level? And then I did some code words for curses there next to legal, who's very upset. And this is when the veto arrives on time. Speaking of time, 10 minutes, trying to be mindful. This is the ROI of an early no, all right? Beautiful. Never thought I'd be so happy about a no. This is so good though. This is when the legal looks at uses this document, or rather the CEO uses this document and then does the work, prepares for a conversation with legal, runs a few searches, then they arrive to legal, then what happens? The founder looks diligent. Who doesn't like looking diligent? That's like, my dream is for people to think of me as diligent. It hasn't happened yet, but, and then legal's a partner, all right? Legal feels like a partner here. That's what you want. That's where you want to be. That's what you want your content to do. And it can. When you look at the vetoes and the isolates, learned that one recently as well. You can read isolate and you know what it means, but I just did recently learn it. Whose cited sources overlaps the least with the others within a decision space, within a group of people that are making a decision, or a group of roles, and then whose no is most likely to affect or stop that decision. Who are your isolates, I ask you? Who has the lowest valent choice points? You know what I mean? No, it's fine. I don't really quite know either. I'd have to back all the way out. But I love talking about this stuff. Ask me, let's talk it through. I want to talk about these things with people. This is some of the most exciting, one of my most excited times in link building. Because it feeds into citation optimization. So this is our work. I run an agency. We're selling stuff. This is what we're selling. Line up. It's right here. Come buy some. Where do we put citations? Or optimize citations? Where do we put them? Well, we certainly would spend some time. Here's the voice crack I've been waiting for. My son was like, Dad, I hope you get a voice crack when it happened. That's awesome. I'm gonna let him know. Where do we put our citations? Where do we put, once we've cracked open the missing helpful content, where do we put it? On-site, off-site, everywhere we can put it. New sites, new pages, new websites if we have to. What is help outline? It's crazy. It doesn't matter. What are they? Assets that bridge role to role choice points. Not always, they don't have to just be choice points. Role to role choice points. We've had success with looking at sort of feature comparisons as well, which are not really quite the same kind of categories of interest, but it can be price, it could be function, it could be durability, it could be lots of different types of comparative categories that we can use here to find isolates, to find the places that are under-cited, under-supported in an LLM's response. This is from my operations manager. She came up with this concept. It's like, I'm tired of this anchor text crap. It's time for anchor context, right? Now, there's a lot of context in a link and in anchor text, and that's why it has been so valuable and so useful for all these years. There's a lot more you can do. A lot more you can do if you're building links, and should do if you're building links. And so a lot of this context is over here on the right. And yes, it does track back to choice points. Not always, doesn't have to, but I just like choice points. So this is kind of, I guess, the end. I'm getting into the bragging part, so I'm excited. Some of the case study portion, but so these two slides are kind of the culmination of practically and tactically how we function, our process now. Arriving on a page with citation optimization, citation optimized bits of content, either adding them to the page, adding new pages, making websites, and then making sure that our anchor context supports what we want LLMs to say. And when we do that, it's awesome, okay? This is a recent case study we did where Zen Business was having some trouble with a priority prompt. CEO and some of the investors were concerned about why LLMs wouldn't say certain things about the brand. So we educated the LLMs. We thought backwards into what do we need to contribute or add to the citation space here, to the decision space, in order to create more visibility for Zen Business. We built some off-domain choice point content. I don't even know if it had links. I won't say it did. I can't remember, but I know it had the brand attached to particular service features. When we did that, we created a boost. We created a lift in visibility. Was it all RAG? Did we get into the index? Not the index, sorry, the training data? No, this is probably RAG. I don't know, I'd have to, in 3 weeks, there's no way it was training data, so this had to be RAG. But we by understanding what is getting cited and making sure we can arrive there with content that's more helpful, we're able to impact or influence what LLMs are saying. This was a different space, but this is another one where we made websites with choice point content on them. This time for a large category of make an XYZ type of digital asset. And again, I'm flexing here, but we did it. We affected change. Now, I hope someone wants to know what was the ROI, because I don't know. But what we did achieve was get more runway for our lead at the client's, the person for whom we work at the company that we work for. They're able to say, hey, we're making a difference. We're making an impact on AI visibility. And when you can say that, you get more runway. Do you get ROI? Well, you can get time to prove that out. That's where we're at now, all right? Anybody that said they know ROI, they're driving ROI? Maybe they are. I'm veering. This is our work. We build links, but now we build more than just hyperlinks. We're working to connect the roles within a decision space with connective, not reconciliation, but guidance for these different roles on how they can work well with one another. And it's hard to believe it's the link builder's job to do that. But nobody else is. Nobody else is doing this. Nobody else is looking and thinking about the problem space this way. It's our job, guys. It's our job. We have to. They need us, all right? They need us. Thank you, guys, very much. I have 1 minute left. Let's just all sit in silence for a minute, okay? Just enjoy. No, it really was fun giving this presentation, working on it. I really love going on walks around the city. So if anybody was like, this sounds cool or interesting, I'd love that. And also, this is a soft launch of what I'm calling right now decision architecture. And so, and so I made stickers, okay? I didn't, Ellen made them, but I asked Ellen to make decision architecture stickers because I think, it's not gonna be me, but I think our era, we're going to begin pushing into a place with content and with our thinking that sits alongside information architecture, okay? Because it's not enough to organize the information. We have to make sure we have the right kinds of guidance for the people making decisions. And Garrett, believe that should be called decision architecture. You don't have to agree with me, but you do have to wear one of these stickers around. Okay? You have to, because we made them, all right? I did recently publish, and now I want to take it down and rewrite it, because I've thought of so many things this week working on this presentation. A decision architecture sort of treatise. I like saying treatise as well. It is dense. It's something I would say upload to Claude and ask it to help you process through what you should do with a thought space, a decision space that you're working in. We have tools that we use for cracking open the decision space. Right now I'm using one that Jeff built me and we use internally, but we're going to be pushing it to Zofu, I hope in the next couple weeks, so you can do your own citation analysis, role-specific citation analysis. Zofu is really like a loss leader for us. We don't use any of the other AI or LLM tracking tools. They're too big. I like narrow and deep, not broad, boil the ocean. We check 10 billion citations. I want to know the citations that are very narrowly specific to roles, and so I can unpack and understand what's missing. And that's why we built Zofu, is for these kinds of inquiries into making useful content, commoditizing helpfulness. I believe we should do that. I believe it's possible. So we'll be pushing some of the decisioning space tools into Zofu. We're for hire. We would love to work for you, with you. I would talk to anybody in this room for hours about this space for completely free, because I love to, but I will try to sell you at the end of the 3 hours. But I'm just saying, I really genuinely love this space. I love this work. So more than happy to have those kinds of conversations. And I'm at 0. They haven't started making hand signals from the back. I'm gonna keep going. I'm just kidding. Guys, thank you all so much. I really appreciate your time today. I hope this talk was useful in some way. And okay, I'm gonna stand at the back, and everybody's getting a GD sticker.